from the hands of master artisans and nurtured by generations of skillful craftsmen, Adire emerged as more than just fabric. It became a symbol of Nigeria's identity, a testament to the ingenuity and resilience of its people. From its humble beginnings as a local craft, Adire has flourished into a global phenomenon, captivating hearts and minds with its mesmerizing patterns and vibrant hues. Yet, amidst the hustle and bustle of modernization, the rich heritage of Nigerian-made fabrics began to fade into obscurity. Enters Adire Fashion Place, a beacon of hope, a bastion of tradition, and a brainchild of the visionary entrepreneur Onyinye Sharon Peter. With a passion for preserving Nigeria's cultural legacy, Onyinye embarked on a mission to revive the art of Adire, founding Adire Fashion Place in 2018, a hand-dyed indigenous textile company dedicated to bringing back the lost heritage of Nigerian-made fabrics. Through meticulous craftsmanship, innovative design, and a deep reverence for tradition, Onyinye, with the birth of Adire Fashion Place, is breathing new life into ancient techniques, ensuring that the legacy of Adire continues to thrive for generations to come.
After I finished my ND program, I had to go for a one-year IT program, and I went looking for placement, IT placement, and most of the factories in Nigeria already closed down. Most of the textile factories in Nigeria are closed down due to one issue or the other. So a friend of mine told me about a foundation, Adire Foundation, that trains women in Adire skills. So I went for the screening. The first batch I wasn't chosen. I went again for the second screening, and luckily I was chosen. The training went for 3 months, and I successfully undergo the training program. I came out and started thinking, okay, should I go back for my HND? Should I start this business? And I said, oh, why don't I do both of them side by side? So I started doing the business, doing the Adire business, and also schooling, doing my HND program. During this process, I was getting customers, I was getting referrals, and the likes. And I did the business for about 2 years with school before I graduated and focused on the business fully. So right now, I would say I've been in the business for about 6 years, from 2018 till this moment. I've been in the Adire business, and so far I've been able to train over 500 women, children, and youth in Adire crafts, both paid training and also free training in collaborations with NGO foundations. Textile technology deals with the production of fabrics, from the cotton to the weaving and also to the finishing process. So Adire is just like a branch of textile technology. So Adire focuses mainly on the designing part, which is like the finishing process. But textile technology covers everything from the farming of the cotton fiber to the weaving process, to the designing, to the packaging and everything. That's what textile technology covers. And if we had working factories in Nigeria, probably I would be working in one of those factories, and I wouldn't just say, okay, let me just do a branch of it. So Adire is just like a branch of textile technology. And because of my vast knowledge in textile technology, I've been able to convince my customers about this craft, whereby they are able to trust me with their fabrics, trust me with their money, and I give them assurance, and they're able to say, oh yes, because of what you studied, I believe you can handle this job very well, because I'm not just a corner side Adire maker now. I'm a textile technologist. So these are some of our products. We just started our ready-to-wear line last year. Adire Fashion Place ready-to-wear. So after making the fabrics, we decided to convert it into ready-to-wear fabrics, because we realized so many people are having difficulties with getting tailors and all that, and they're always like, oh, I don't want to get this fabric because I'm scared I won't be able to get a tailor to make them for me. So we are here to do everything for you. We create the designs, we make the fabrics, we design everything, and we also turn it into ready-to-wear wearable fabrics for you, wearable dresses, and whatever you want to get, whatever design you want, we are also available. So these are some of our products. We have this beautiful dress. It's a ready-to-wear dress. It's one size fits all. We also have fabrics, we have scarves, This is one of our fabrics, and this is a very unique design. We also have this design, very unique design. And we have this is the traditional Adire pattern. This is a pattern that doesn't go out of time. It's a timeless print, so in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, if you get this, you can always wear it and no one would say, oh, this particular design is no longer in vogue. This Adire pattern, it's in vogue. And the lovely thing about Adire is whatever we do, each pattern has a meaning, each design has a meaning, and each pattern tells a story also. So Adire is far above just designing. It's about expression. You can also express yourself using this fabric. See, nowadays we have this customized print where people write their names, people write their oriki, people express themselves through these fabrics. It's no longer a thing of just putting blue and green together. No, it's now a form of expression. And this is also another one. This is the splash design print, and we make use of different fabric textures. We have the cotton brocade, we have the chiffon, we have the silk, we have the organza and other fabrics. As long as the fabric is gotten from a natural source, you can always dye it and do unique things with it for you. For the past 6 years I've been running this business. One of my challenges has been funding, and it hasn't really been easy getting funding for my business. I started doing the pre-order base. So when you come to me with a design, I say, okay, you need to make payment, they will make it for you and all that. So we take the profit, we take it back to the business, and that's how we've been running. I've not gotten a loan, I've not gotten a grant, and I've not gotten anything actually. When I wanted to start, I told my mom, I was like, I'm going to start this business. And she was like, okay, how much do you need and how much interest would you pay? And I was like, business I've never started getting customers. How will I start taking loan for it? I said, okay, I'll just have to run this business the way I can. So I started with the pre-order base. The customer makes payments, probably like 70% payments. We get the materials, we do the job. Once we're about delivering, they send us the balance, and then we put back what we've gotten into the business. So that's how we've been running it so far. And also, one of my challenges has been staffing. It hasn't really been easy to get more hands. So Adire is a manpower work. We, as I said earlier, we don't use any machine, so it's manpower. So getting more hands to do this business has really been difficult. But so many people are like, oh, Adire is hard, is this, is that. So they come, work 1 month, 2 months, and you don't see them again. And also getting a space to work has also been difficult. So we've had the challenge of getting a space. So when you talk to some landlords and they're like, oh, we don't want you doing this thing in our space, we don't want to do this. Or even when you start, they'll be like, okay, after a year they're like, you can't use this space anymore. So that's also a challenge in this business. And also our major challenge has also been sourcing materials, because everything we use, even if they're all handmade, we source them from outside the country. The fabrics, to the dyes, to the chemicals and everything, they are sourced outside the country. So during this dollar race, people were like, wow, it's handmade, so why is it going up? But then all the materials are also imported. So before you know, you would hear China people has increased their price, the dollar rate is affecting it, and so the price keeps going up and going up and going up, and there's nothing we can do because it's all sourced outside the country. I've been able to work with various fashion designers in and outside of the country. My fabrics has been to Paris, has been to US, has been to London, and so many other places. So also during these past 6 years, I've been able to train over 500 women, children and youth in Adire training through collaboration with NGOs and also paid trainings. During this training, I've also learned a lot. I train one person, they train another person, and then you see the student doing big things. Last year, one of my students won a grant of 1 million naira, and I was like, wow. And she used everything she did with this Adire business. That was what she used, to get that money. And I was so proud that, wow, I did the training, and she went out there and talked about the business and did her own exposure, and she was able to get this. So Adire is not just a little thing, you can use it to get greater things. And also, during this period, I've been nominated to the Under 25 Awards in 2019. I've also been featured in different programs. I've been featured in Craft by Queen. I've been featured in African Business Radio and other platforms. I've worked with other fashion designers, those that are in Nigeria and those that are outside Nigeria, in Manayesi, as some of them, etc.
Good afternoon. I'm very glad to have Onyinye here with me today.
Good afternoon.
Onyinye, how has business been?
Business has been great. It has been awesome. Do one or two challenges, but then we've been keeping it moving.
I can imagine. Speaking about challenges, how did you cope during the dollar fluctuation saga?
Oh wow, it was quite hectic, One day you get something at price A, and the next thing you make a call, and sometimes I would have even done the transfer, and I'm like, oh, I just sent, and they're like, no, this is the new price, and I'm like, how come? Dollar increase. Most times when I hear of the dollar increase, I just have to go back to my drawing board, okay, how much did we put this? And you need to start increasing price. I don't really have a particular method, I would say honestly, on like accounting based method to say, okay, to start taking my book and all that. I'll just use the local method, okay, this thing increased with so amount, let's just add this, and we feel okay, it will be great to cover up the extra expenses, the extra costs.
Well, the local method works. It has worked for our mothers and our grandmothers, so it works. But if you can actually find the time to actually sit down and you document your prices, fortunately, you've been in business for a while, so you have an history of prices and how clients react. So if you can actually sit down and document your price, and then you now document your costs, and you compare the two, it will give you an idea of your profit margin. For example, this is the price I've been selling to people for the past 6 months, and these are my costs. This is the number of tailors I use, number of the cost of sewing machine, the number of years the sewing machine lasts for, and I now find how much the sewing machine will be for a month. That is going to be like the depreciation cost. But the idea is for you to have a very good idea of what your monthly cost is, and then you can now break it down to the cost per item. So what that does for you, because and what that has done for the people I've advised in the past, is that it gave them a mind shift. Some were so surprised that they were actually making profit, while some were shocked that they were giving away so much value and their margin was negative. So if you have an idea of your costs, you can now decide where your pricing will be. If you want to be premium, or if you want to have a particular type of clientele that you focus, who will enable you to cover your costs. So it takes a bit of time, but if you just do the exercise for about 2 weeks, I can assure you that it will bring a change of perspective to you.
Well, majorly my challenge has been paying myself.
Okay.
So that has been like my huge challenge. I often hear it, okay, I watched something, a man was trying to get a grant and they were asking him how much does he pay himself, and he said it just takes. And they were like, they can't, give him anything from someone that just takes from his business. He does not have a steady, amount. And I was like, I'm the one saying they would also send me away.
Well, that's a delicate topic because the reality is that most entrepreneurs, it's difficult to pay yourself. Because when you are just starting, it's most likely the business is not making enough money to pay yourself. You can pay your staff, you can cover the rent, but you may not be making enough money to pay yourself. But what we advise is that you should have an amount that you fix as your salary. Even if you're not able to cover that amount in your, if you're not able to pay yourself for a particular period, just keep recording that amount so the business will owe you that amount. Let's bring it home. If you decide to pay yourself 500,000 naira every month, and obviously the business can afford it, so what you do is that the business will be owing you that 500,000 naira every month. You get so if you don't pay yourself for about 10 months, so the business will owe you 5 million naira. So that way you have a systematic approach. But it is very different from somebody who says, I don't pay myself. Then he just wakes up and he sees one nice Jeep somewhere and he just clears his bank account to buy the Jeep. So the difference between both is that one person is systematic, you only spend what you pay yourself. The other, that if you give him a loan, can you use the entire loan for a personal need instead of actually spending the loan on the business proper. So that's the difference.
Because when I started, how I operate, I make a sale and I get my profits. So I usually divide it into 3. 1 back to the business, 1 I save, 1 then 1 for myself. I don't know if it makes sense.
Well, as a sole trader, right, that will fly. But once you start having a business proper, and there's a chance that you may apply for a loan, or a grant, or seek investments, you will need to structure the business. And part of structuring the business is that the business is not a separate individual on its own from you. So any money you take from the business, is either the business is borrowing you or the business is paying you. Any money you put into the business is either you are borrowing the business or you are investing into the business. So the two of you have become 2 very separate entities. So if the business earns money and you save a part of the money, you are saving it on behalf of the business. Yes. So any money you take out of the business, you're not owing the business, or you're taking it out as a salary or a dividend. There must be structure. So it is when there is structure that it is easier for you to apply for grants or for loans. And if you ask any question, it's easier for you to answer because there's a proper structure. And then it's easier for you to even employ people because there's a structure. You can even employ a COO because you have a structure. You know how things work. You know the structure. So the CEO will just sit at a place on your structure. It is not just come and then anyhow business. No. So that's among the reasons why it's good to have proper structure in business. It takes time to build. Don't let's take that out of it, but you need to work on it. How has it been paying salaries and covering your monthly expenses?
Okay, so basically how I run it, I don't pay salaries. I call it wages. So the workers, I pay per how many products they work on.
Okay.
So yes, for my tailors, I pay per outfit.
Like commission.
Yes, like commission, exactly. Then for my designers too, I pay per outfit because we realize most times when you employ them, you're like, okay, your monthly salary is so amount. When they come, they might not do anything. Yeah. Yes, because it's manpower, so they might not do anything and they'll just be there and the work keeps on piling and you cannot meet up to deadlines. But when you tell them, okay, if you work on 5 fabrics, you're going to be paid this amount, you'd see them struggling, to even do more. than that. So that's how we make those payments. And those payments, we do our calculations and take it out from the profits. So
that's actually quite ingenious. That's
yes. So
that's beautiful. So they only get paid for what they
do. Yeah. So if I have the one that if there's when there's scarcity of fuel, could not get fuel to pump water and all that. So I have someone that will fetch water. Okay, so how many did you fetch? How many drums did you fill? You get paid for that. So that's how I've been running it for the time being.
Okay. How do you manage and keep track of your inventory? For example, if you go to the market and you buy 4,000 bales of clothes, how do you know the number of bales remaining after 6 weeks? How do you keep track of your inventory?
Okay, so that was I started doing that recently because I realized I was asking my oldest staff, how many fabrics did they deliver? And she was like, I said, since there's something going on, I need to start, writing down these things. So once they deliver, new fabrics, I tell someone, check the ones before we drop those new ones to be sure of what we have in total. So that's how we do. We make sure I write them down with the dates they were delivered.
Exactly.
And yes, the ones left before we add the new ones. So if I'm aware that the delivery guy is going to come tomorrow, today we need to check what we have on ground so we can be sure. So when he brings those ones, we add it up and update.
That's actually quite good because from personal experience, I know that tracking inventory in the fashion business is quite tough. So different people have come up with different ways to handle it. One of the ways that I've seen that works is that as soon as your inventory comes in, whether you go and buy it yourself or people supply it, you write it based on the type of material and type of design. So you actually tag it, right? So when they cut a part, you make sure that if they need 2.5 yards, for example, if they need 2.2 yards, you make sure that they only cut 2.5, so that your inventory per time you have a measurable part. It should either be in whole or in half, that you can track it, because if you track 2.1 to 2.1.2, it will get messy somewhere along the line. So that way, at any point in time, you can actually see a record. You can see this purple Adire, I don't know how you guys call it, that this is number of inventory. And after a while, you'll be able to even determine which fabric moves faster. And then it will help you to plan ahead on what to stock. I know that as a businesswoman, you have it in your head. But it is actually very powerful if you have actual data to support your decision, because it may get to a point that you realize that this actually moves faster. Why do I even go to the source and not go to the retailer? So you get so data actually helps a lot. And data comes by somebody actually tracking it. So if you can get somebody in your team that you trust that can help you with tracking it one by one, the outcome is always very powerful. And then, like I always ask, and I'm sure many of my friends are actually tired of this, do you have a budget? Yeah, like 6 months budget.
That's for my business, right?
Yes, it's okay if you don't have. Yes, for your business.
I don't have.
Okay, it's okay. What I tell business people is that yes, I understand that at times business is a bit of jama. I understand that, but having a budget gives you a level of clarity. And like I told some people last week, that having a budget gives you a very good idea of the minimum income you need to make per month. That way, you don't wait for customers to come in. You actually go out and meet the customers. Yes. Get so, and we are human beings. There are times that we wake up and we are just not in the mood. So if you know that I need to make this amount of money because I need to pay this amount of money, yes, you get, so it gives you on the move. And besides, there are some huge expenses that come at different times, like rents, like new machineries, etc. That's based on the nature of your work. You are usually too busy in the work, and then before you know it, your landlord is at the door. But if you actually have a budget, you can actually plan on the amount of money you will save on a monthly basis. You keep aside on a monthly basis, even though it is not easy, but it needs to be done. So I personally advise small businesses to actually build a budget for a minimum of 6 months. And you can get the templates anywhere. There are abundance of templates online.
So budget and targets are the same?
No, okay. That's actually a good question. A budget, right, is a list of your expenses for each month.
Okay.
Yes, your expenses, salaries, lights, utilities, water, security, all your expenses for each month. So you can add for month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. So my point is that if your total budget, if your total expense for, let's say, if your total expense for June is 1.2 million naira, right? That means that the money must come from somewhere. So you know that in May, you need to make at least 1.2 million naira, so that you will not be running elter-skelter in June. Yes, that's the clarity that comes with having a budget. Because people like you that actually have staff, right? You know that this guy, I need to pay this guy's salary. But it's a different thing if you actually write everything down and you say, all these people, the total salary is 800,000. Well, where will the money come from? Okay. That's when you start say, I need somebody to market for me, somebody to advertise for me, because you have clarity, of the minimum amount of money you need to make, and then you can now add your margin on it, on the budget to get your price. And if your line of business is not the margin kind of business, because there's a business that you just fix the price without considering the costs, it's fine. You also do that too. But budget gives you clarity on your common expenses, and that you need to make a minimum of that amount to cover your cost.
Like, what will you advise a business if how many percentage profits would you advise a business owner to put on their product? Because I say some people say 300%, some people say no, like
That's a very valid question. There are different ways to look at it. You make clothes, right?
Yeah, I make fabrics.
Oh, you make fabrics too?
Yes.
Oh, that's actually beautiful. Okay, now let's talk about making the fabric. The cost of the fabric and the cost of the dye is designed, right? At the direct cost. Okay, that's what people normally say, that you take that direct cost and you mark it by 300%. The reason why they say that is because they are indirect costs, like your rents, staff salaries, marketing expenses, that will come in after the direct cost. Let me try and bring it home. If you bought your materials for, let's say, 500k, and the dye and co is, let's say, 200,000. Let's assume that is all all you spent direct cost. That total of 700,000. Now, but you have staff that you are paying, let's say 600,000. You have rent of 200,000 naira a month, right? So it means that your margin cannot be on only your direct cost. So, and if your margin is going to be on your direct cost, you will need to multiply it by 2 or by 3. So that's where they come in. Yeah, but again, the issue of margin or percentage markup in business actually varies from business to business. Even in the same line of business, it varies from person to person. So it's just up to you and what works for your industry and your clients. So Oyiye, I'm very glad we had this conversation, and I look forward to meeting you again in the next few months.
Same here. I'm also very, very glad we had this conversation. I've learned a lot just this few minutes of our discussions. I'm really glad. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.